There's been a lot of things in my life that I've overcome. Fear of spiders and rats. If you can imagine such a thing, someone would be afraid of rats on you or spiders crawling on you. At one time, it was bothersome for me. I could handle snakes, cobras, rattlesnakes, whatever, and I could deal with a lot of other scary things, jumping out of airplanes and doing things that other people might have some fears with. But having rats on me, like when I was in India, or spiders on me, used to affect me. So this takes me back to 2009, and I was at an ashram outside of Pune in India, and I was sitting with the guru there. We were there I was there about 3, 4 months, and there was only a handful of people there. And we're sitting there one evening, and he's having tea, uh, and I'm sitting there just listening to him and chatting. And I noticed that these rats are running up and down up the beams, above his head in the kitchen area. That there's a whole bunch of rats. Never really noticed them there before at all. But this night, they're running all over the place. And the guru looked at me because I wasn't really listening to him. I was watching the rats, and he says, "You have rat mind. What you think about, you're attracting." And I didn't get it. And he says, if you rats, the mind is just like rats, right? It's running around, it's not focused. And he says, overcome the rat mind. I didn't have any clue what he was talking about. So that night I go to my bungalow, and I'm living by myself, and it's a dark room, and I got a bed there. And that night, after being there for weeks and weeks, never saw a rat. That night I looked up, and in my bungalow there's a dozen rats, big, huge, about the size of small cats, running up and down the beams and everything. And then one pops down on the floor and is running around. Next thing you know, I got 3 or 4 on my bed. I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag on top of this bed. And next thing you know, one's crawling inside my bag, and one's on my head, one's on my neck. I could feel its fur. And I just decided, you know what? The guru was talking about a rat mind and thinking about him. And so I thought, oh, maybe this is what it's all about. So I decided just to ignore it, choose to ignore these rats running all over me. They could have bit me, these big brown rats. Um, and I chose to be totally at peace with it, to let my rat mind just settle down. And I went to sleep, and I had one inside my bag. I could feel its little nails, walking up and down my stomach. And I had one on my neck, and I had one that was on my head someplace. And I went to sleep. I remember going to sleep. Woke up in the morning, no rats. In fact, I never saw another rat the whole time I was in India. That was it. That one night I was attacked by rats, and decided just to release my rat mind and let it go, and just give myself to peace and relax. And from that moment on, that was the end of the rat mind for me. I didn't think about rats. I didn't see rats. They never bothered me. Uh, I was comfortable with rats came. If they didn't come, it didn't bother me. It was never a thought. A few nights later, after the guru kind of told me the rat mind is also like a spider, whatever that language meant, it's also like a spider, right? Well, I'm one of these guys that if I go to a hotel or I'm in my own room and I look up in the ceiling as I'm getting ready to go to bed, there's a big old spider hanging up on the ceiling above me or on the wall next to me. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping unless I get up there and capture it and kill it or let it go. And so that thought occurred to me as I went back to the bungalow again. And this time I opened up my sleeping bag and shined my flashlight in, and inside the bag was 75 or 100, a countless amount of different sizes, different shapes, different textures of spiders. Daddy long legs types, ones that look like creepy, not black widows. They weren't poisonous, but something that kind of looked like that. Big ones, small ones. I mean, at least 75. I mean, there were all kinds of And again, I remembered what I did with the rats. And I thought, oh, maybe this is what the hit was about, the spider mind, the rat mind. So I just reached in with my bare arm, I had a t-shirt on, and I just pushed all the spiders I could touch and find in the darkness there with my flashlight, and I shoved them all out onto the floor. And I'm walking out in my barefoot, I'm walking out there. I don't know if I'm stepping on them or not, but I never even thought about it. And then I just got into the sleeping bag and never gave it another thought. I just remembered how I handled the rats, and I went to sleep. And when I woke up, there was no spiders. So spiders or rats doesn't make any difference. It's all state of mind. When you make up your mind that they don't bother you, you're not afraid of them, you no longer have that problem.